stuff. So yeah, we have here the insert for the Colonists from GameFit, and there is a lot of stuff in this game. And a thing that I've heard a couple of people complain about is all the buildings in the game having some organization. And they have this nice buildings tray here that everything slots into, and
it's labeled.
Everything is labeled.
Oh, wow.
Everything has a place. Even the starting player marker has a place in here.
And like slot in perfectly too. Like there's just enough room.
Bring it up about 4 or 5 inches. And
It's
that way,
incredible.
Yeah, that way you could see it was just slightly out of range for the camera, but there you go.
But yeah,
it is so incredible.
And this is not just like a top and bottom. There are 4 or 5 layers of wood here that it's all slotting down into. So it's not like you're going to miss the hole if you angle it
go in
wrong.
sideways?
Yeah, it's definitely going to go all the way down.
Nice.
And this alone is like worth getting the insert. But I just want to show off this thing on the side here. Look, I'm holding this thing sideways and nothing's falling out.
As everything just suddenly goes flying out.
Can you see this joint work here in the camera?
A little bit.
Like,
You can see it's interlocking.
Yeah, it's got it's like pressure joints on there, and that makes it so nice. It makes it to where you don't need any glue. It just holds it all together. I was able to take this. I screwed up a couple times, as I normally do, putting things together. And I was able to take it apart, put it together like 2 or 3 times, and it's still holding nice and snug.
Oh, that's
It was really funny because he's downstairs in the basement with his big like tent stake mallet, like banging on the box, and I just hear boop 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 boop, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so annoying.
It's what I use as my craft mallet.
It is. It's his craft mallet, but.
Tonight's episode title: You're not gonna miss the hole if you go in sideways.
All right, now I'm broke.
Oh, can we get this guy an award or something? I mean, that's worthy of something right
VIP
there.
or MVP. There we go.
If we ever host an event somewhere, you've got a free ticket to the event, not the convention. All right, you gotta deal with that on your own.
Anyways,
so yeah, we have more to this, but we have these trays that have these nice engravings on them. Everything says what it goes to.
Oh, those are the tools.
Yeah, we have the money tray, so you got the 1, 5, and 25 on there. And there's use of plexiglass in a few different ways. The one that one of the ones didn't, but this one has got a nice cover for these market trays. It's a little bit of empty space. They're filling the space in there, but like that slots right back on there if I can get in position right. Yeah, like that. We got all the goods trays. There's
I love that it's labeled.
Oh yeah, so you got all the different labels on the goods there.
Yeah, that is.
And there's a few different of those, like, and it'll tell you like what era it comes in, because you can do different eras of the game.
Yeah,
like
you can break it up into different.
Start later or stop sooner, and this one.
When you're showing off the individual ones, make sure they're more this way.
Oh, like that.
Yeah, because you get some of it's getting cut off at the bottom.
Okay, so yeah, we have the different
That's
location
centered.
tiles that come out in the game. You have
Is this a game that can like it has different ages and can
Yes.
take like 8 hours depending on how many ages you play?
yeah, 2-player. If you wanted to do a 4-era game, which is like the full length, it would probably be about 4 hours. If you're moving at a regular pace. Yeah, and every player has their own little pawns that they have too, and this is probably the most rickety one, because they just kind of follow
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're just like regular pawns, so I don't know what they could really do with that besides like totally encasing it.
But it still looks really
It's actually
cool.
labeled on both sides. I didn't realize that before.
Oh, yeah, look at it.
So, and then you have all the cards sorted here.
Oh yeah, the card sorter's really cool.
So yeah, there's again it's sorted by era, and it tells you what kind of cards are going
I
in
like
there
the
for each
notching
era.
for the plexiglass little
Oh yeah,
dividers.
they notched everything out, so it's easy to grab the cards out.
Yeah, because even the little plexiglasses are notched.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah.
But yeah, it makes setting up the game a whole lot easier. It's amazing what this
I
insert
imagine
does.
that, like you were talking about, that alone
The
would
building
probably
tray?
save
Yeah.
a whole lot of time.
Yeah, when I've done this solo, I had everything sorted into a like a Plano case,
Yeah.
and like I had it like stuffed in there, and it still didn't fit everything.
Yeah.
This works wonders on that. It runs circles around it.
And it fits in the box.
Yeah, it fits
Like,
in the box too.
A part of me wishes I had something more like that, because I'll probably talk about brass next
Yeah.
before we go to talk
Because
about.
that's still GameFit.
Yeah, exactly. Because I almost kind of want something more like that for the brass buildings than the way that they have it set up for brass. But I'll wait till you're finished. Rusted Beetle says you should magnetize the bottom of the ponds to keep them in place. But I don't think it's really I think your point was it's not really necessary.
No.
Yeah.
They're not going in, especially everything's
They're buried in the box.
Yeah,
of their other
everything.
stuff.
They're underneath a bunch of other components, so they're not gonna leave that component tray.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, what did I do here?
Did
Which-
you mess
Oh,
it up?
no, it's-
Which order did you take stuff out in?
yeah, that's what you. Oh, you know what? This goes on top of that. Okay,
There we go.
never mind. I figured it out. That's always a problem with inserts. It's like
Mommy,
sometimes you
wow.
forget how it goes in there.
That's why
And there's still room for the boards on top, which is good.
That's why a lot of times if they come with like an instruction thing that shows how everything goes in there, I'll leave it in the box. Just because for that one time that I forgot how everything goes in
Yeah.
the box.
Yeah.
Except for this didn't come with any instructions.
They don't. The GameFit ones don't come with any instructions, which I thought was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But then
Almost
way
didn't need it.
Yeah, exactly. The way they have pictures on their website of each individual component, plus each of the sheets has like everything for one piece in it. It's not like.
That's the one difference between like Broken Tech and it's like I need this piece from sheet 5, I need this piece from sheet 4. It's I'm punching out all this sheet and it's
that's
just gonna
one piece.
Yeah, I'm about to talk about that too with this other one over here. But we can talk about the other GameFit one first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we'll talk about the GameFit one here at the same time.
I was thoroughly impressed though with this Colonist insert.
So I was not as impressed, but that was only because of it has nothing to do with the company and more to do with me. So Colin told me about this company. He's like, look at their website, see what they've got, and I looked at a couple and I was like, ooh, brass. Hey, they got a brass insert. I'd like to try a brass insert. I didn't click to see what the insert was.
Mm.
And
It's this we have in front of us here.
it's this. Yeah, it's not a full-on insert of the game. It is basically just boxes. Like you separate all the different components into these little boxes, and then the remaining little bits get put underneath, and then each player's resources. I mean, there's separate trays in there that I guess you could divide up the buildings and put them in there, but like this is basically a fancy bit box almost. But what I will say, and so that's something you could have easily determined from their website. So
That's no fault of
no fault
GameFit.
of GameFit. They didn't
Yeah.
sell it as it was something else. It was, I got it into my head that this was a full-on, more like what you had with the Colonist insert for brass. But it is nice the way it still uses the native insert, but
Oh yeah,
all it does is it just subs out and everything stacks really well.
it does. It's
Yeah,
nice
that
and
nests on there
and
pretty
nests
nice.
on there.
I like the little notches on the bottom tray place for the
Right.
boxes to fit into.
So I will
See
say,
those notches on there.
yeah. So I will say the things that you mentioned. I do like the way the interlocks nice because you don't have to glue. Because sometimes with some other inserts, I on occasion I usually don't have to glue. They'll usually just be like one joint somewhere that just is kind of loose or something, and it's just not. But these, the way they've got that extra kind of cut in there, and it almost makes me feel like I'm gonna break it every time. But like, no, but it holds fast and just clicks right in, and you do get this kind of feeling of it's like a Lego brick when you like click them
Yeah.
together.
Oh yeah.
And you
Oh
get-
yeah,
That's what it kind of feels like. And so,
it's
you
almost
sit-
like a puzzle too, trying to figure out what order to put them in.
yeah.
Once you know it for one, it makes sense.
And
for
it
the
was
rest.
kind of off-putting when there was no instructions. But again, I just went on their website and I just had it open in our browser and I just looked through the pictures.
Which, hey, saves paper.
It does save paper. I think that insert was like $20 base price.
Oh, look at that. It's got the name on there.
Yeah.
It did, yeah.
So I was highly impressed with the construction and the quality of it. And if you're like the people that we know that just love brass, like brass is the game that you play all the time, you would probably enjoy this. The average person that might play brass, but they're really just looking for a good way to organize it so it gets out on the table more, you may not need this. You could do the same thing with just some of the little geek boxes or something similar. But the component or the construction quality of the insert is nice. And it does make me want to try some of their other inserts.
Yeah, try something out that
something out that is a more what I'm more expecting in an insert.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it says it's an organizer for brass, but
Yeah,
I
and
can't tell how much it is because it's in whatever the Russian currency is.
Yeah, so that's it. My only beefs is more of I had a wrong perception going in.
That makes sense.
So but overall, I think at least the three of us that have been messing with them have been fairly impressed.
Oh yeah.
And it's
yeah.
GameFit.games, right?
No, .shop.
Shop, yeah.
Oh, okay. GameFit.
I just looked it up.
Shop.
Yeah, GameFit.shop. And you will have to translate the website.
Yeah.
Luckily, my phone.
Now the
just
only
did it for me.
downside is with it being a.
Well, I was able to get it translated into English on the website.
That's why I said my phone translated it.
Oh, okay.
The only downside is it's probably going to cost more for shipping.
Yeah, that was something I didn't have to necessarily worry about with getting the review things. But I mean, the prices when I converted them seemed reasonable.
Right.
Like
Comparable to
I don't know what the
Broken
shipping rates
Token.
are. Yeah.
Yeah, but and I mean it takes a little longer to get stuff from the Russian post, but